Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Saturday night, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Enjoyed refereeing tonight for Total Aggression Wrestling. Have one more show this weekend coming up tomorrow for Scrappy Championship Wrestling. I'll talk about those coming up later on in the week. We also got to talk about Elimination Chamber, which took place earlier tonight, later on in the week. But tonight I want to talk about, I guess we'll change the name to Sick of It Saturday. Normally when I do a video like this, I call it Fed Up Friday, and it's just things either in the sports world or in the world in general that I'm just fed up with. I don't do one a whole lot. I do one every 3 or 4 months, and this was actually going to be last night's video, so it would have been a Fed Up Friday, but it's very rare that I'm home on a Friday night with no plans, nothing to do, nowhere to go, nobody to see, and nobody to come see me. And last night was one of those nights, and I sit in my recliner at about 8:15 and fell asleep. And I ain't fell asleep that early since I was about 12. So that's why this video didn't get done last night, and it's getting done tonight. So since it's not a Friday, we got to change it to something different. So we'll call it Sick of It Saturday. It's Saturday where I am too, Ashley, and glad to have you back. Ashley, I believe, if memory serves, you're the one that requested I do a top 10 countdown about the top 10 90s country songs. So I did that not this past Wednesday, but I think the Wednesday before that. So go back and watch that top 10 countdown, Ashley. I believe you're the one that requested that. And I even said in the video that it was for Ashley. I thought it was you. And it was top 10 90s country songs. But this week's, in this edition of, instead of Fed Up Friday, Sick of It Saturday, I've got 4 topics of things that are getting on my nerves. Hey, Jacob, glad to have you here. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow at Scrappy Championship Wrestling. The first one is politics and sports. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I 1000% despise politics. Some folks say they despise it, but yet they could tell you a little bit about it. I can't tell you nothing about it. Don't intend to, don't want to. I 100% completely despise politics. But people that like politics, even most of those, the reason why you watch sports is to get away from the real world and escape the real world. And it's a way to escape the real world because there's no mention of, worldly news, worldly events, politics. But it seems like this past year, even you turn on sports radio or watch sports on TV, there's some kind of mention of something going on in the political world, and I am absolutely sick of it. Even if I liked politics, I'd be sick of it because politics should not interfere with sports, and sports should not interfere with politics. It's 2026. There are 14,478 channels that are dedicated to news. If people want to watch the news, they've got multiple chances to watch the news. If they got it on a sports radio show or a sports TV show, it's to hear sports, not politics. That's absolutely driving me crazy. And that's one more than me, Ashley. So you're doing one better than me. And that's the way it's always going to be. For me, I'm at Goose Egg, and my intention is to stay at Goose Egg. And the next thing is, and this ain't about one particular fan base, this is just in general. And I can say it because as a Clemson fan, and I've said this multiple times, but across the 3 major sports, football, baseball, and basketball, Clemson is about the cleanest or one of the cleanest programs there is in college athletics. You can try to investigate them all you want to, and you're not going to find anything because they believe in doing things the right way. This is the way it should be for every program in every school, but unfortunately, it's not. And I'm sick and tired of fans in general being okay with bad behavior of their team and covering it up like, oh, well, everybody does it, or oh, well, they're doing it too, or well, it don't matter because we're winning. To me, if it's right, it's right, even if nobody does it. And if it's wrong, even if everybody does it. We shouldn't justify the wrongness, but that's what most fans do. And that's what's caused sports, especially the collegiate sports world, to become so corrupt because as fans, most of the fans don't care because, well, we're winning national championships, or well, we're winning, or well, they're doing it too. And Dabo brought that up a few weeks back, talking about Ole Miss, how dirty Ole Miss is. And Dabo even said when he talked to Ole Miss about it and tried to get Ole Miss to stop it, Ole Miss' response was, well, people do it to us too. Well, that don't make it right. Just because somebody does it to you don't mean it's okay for you to go back and do it to somebody else. If it's wrong, it's wrong. I don't care if somebody else does it, it's still wrong. If you have kids or grandkids, if your kid does something wrong and you try to punish your kid and they say, well, Lottie Dottie and everybody else done it, you ain't gonna say, oh well, son, it's okay now if they done it. No, it's still wrong. And we should treat our sports team just like we treat our kids. If it's morally wrong, it should be morally wrong. And actually, I've actually had to have that twice, and both times I've had it, thank God, ended up getting canceled, and I didn't have to go because I never want to go. The third thing is, and I guess this is kind of sort of both, and I had no idea it was both until this week, but I cannot stand Stephen A. Smith. I despise Stephen A. Smith. And I've never liked him, but it's gotten worse over time. The longer he's around, to me, the more it seems like he says things just to get a rise out of people. And he says things just to get attention and not because he believes them. It's just to get you to watch and see what he's going to say next. Uh, Actually, it would have been on a Wednesday. So go back and look at this past Wednesday and the Wednesday before that. And the Wednesday before that would have been what, the 18th, I think. I believe that sounds right. Off the top of my head, the 18th. I normally don't title my top 10 countdown videos. A lot of times I don't even title my actual videos. But it's very, very, very rare that I title the Wednesday top 10 countdowns because everybody knows by now that every Wednesday it's top 10 countdown. But I want to say it was the week of the 18th, but I could be wrong. But it was Wednesday the 18th, but it wouldn't say, top 10 countdown. It'll just say, live video or goes live or whatever. Go back and look for the video on February the 18th. And if it wasn't that one, then you can watch the 11th and the 25th. But I'm almost positive it was the 18th. I believe the week of the 11th, I told everybody I was going to do your video the next week. And I think it was the 18th. But I'm sick and tired of Stephen A. Smith. He's now moved over to Sirius XM, which I don't listen to all the time. I've started recently because NASCAR just started, and I'm a huge NASCAR fan. But a lot of times when you're listening to Sirius XM, when they go to break, they'll advertise shows that come on other networks and other channels there on Sirius XM. And I heard a commercial the other day for Stephen A. Smith on one of their news and politics channels. And I thought, oh my gosh, this guy now has a daily show on TV, a daily show on the radio, and now a daily show, I think it's once a week, on one of the news channels. And I just do not get the love for Stephen A. Smith. He's turned into the modern day Howard Stern, where it seems like no matter where you go, you see Stephen A. Smith. When he first started years and years and years ago, he was okay. He let fame go to his head, and he got to where he would take his glasses off and look in the camera and make his eyes real big and say something stupid and throw something, and that crap got annoying. And he's just gotten worse and worse over time. Ashley, you are welcome. Just watch that video, and I believe that it's the 18th, and I believe that I didn't put a title on it, but I believe I said in the video that it was for Ashley, and I thought it was you, but I wasn't sure because you have not been on here in a while, and when you made that request, I told you I would do it, and then you didn't come back on here between your first time on and that countdown, so I was going by memorization, but I thought it was you, so I'm glad you're back. So go back and watch that video, make sure that is the right one. And the last thing I'm sick of is having to pay more to watch less, and this probably won't stop because now that we have, Amazon Prime and Paramount and Peacock and Hulu and Netflix and whatever other streaming company device I forgot. And now people are paying for all of them, and you're paying just as much now for all those services streaming that you would pay for cable or satellite. There's no difference. But people are trying to cut the cord and get rid of cable. But now when you've got 12 different streaming services, you're paying the same as you would pay for cable. So you might as well just stick with cable. But now you've got to, if you're a NASCAR fan, you got to have Amazon to watch NASCAR. And then you got to have the ESPN platform to watch wrestling. And then you got to have the Netflix platform to watch some wrestling. And you got to have Peacock to watch racing. And you have to have 147 different streaming services in order to have all the sports and TV shows you want to watch. Why can't somebody just start a streaming platform that is strictly sports? And that way, if you like racing, they've got it. If you like football, they've got it. If you like baseball, they've got it. If you like basketball, they've got it. If you like lacrosse, they've got it. If you like rugby, they've got it. You just about have that on Pluto, and I think everybody's watched Pluto because this day and time everybody has a smart TV, but you got Pluto, and then you have the Roku channel, and both of those have probably 45 different sports channels, but the problem with those is none of it's live. It's all, recorded, and a lot of it's 10, 15 years old. Why can't you have a modern day streaming service that shows nothing but live sporting events? That way you can pay for one streaming service, even if it's $20 a month. It's still cheaper than cable. It's cheaper than satellite, and it's cheaper than having Hulu for one thing, and Netflix for one thing, and Amazon for one thing, and Paramount for one thing, and Peacock for one thing. Just have a streaming service that's 100% dedicated to sports all the time. And that way, any sports you like is on there. To me, that's simple and it sounds easy, but since so many people are willing to go out and pay all these different streaming services to have all these different TV shows and sporting events, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. But I'm sick and tired of having to pay $10 a month to watch racing, $10 a month to watch this kind of wrestling, $10 a month to watch this kind of wrestling. Just leave it on cable or satellite. It's so much easier. It's one bill to one company. Hey there, Eddie. So glad to have you back. I don't know the aux cord. I don't know if I've ever even watched Redbox. Oh, that's the thing to rent a movie? Oh, okay. Well, that's why it didn't sound familiar, because I watch like one movie a year. So, if Redbox was still around, I've never used it. If it's totally went away, I wouldn't know. It's hard for me to watch a movie. I most of the time usually would rather go outside and watch grass grow while standing in quicksand than I would watch a movie. So I couldn't tell you anything at all about Redbox. And you're saying it's gone. But see, I had no idea it was gone or no idea where it was at to begin with. Movies is just something that I've never been able to get into. If they don't catch my attention in the first 10 minutes, I'm done. I can't wait. I have a very, very, very short attention span and I can't do it. Matter of fact, friends of mine that I work with told me they went and watched the new Scream last night. Scream, I don't know, 25, 22, 47, whatever number they're at now. So today I asked them, did y'all like the movie? They said, yeah, but it's kind of a slow start. The first 10 minutes was kind of slow. I said, well, no point in me watching it. After that, I'd have checked out. So it's hard for me to watch a movie. So Ox Cord, before you told me what Redbox was, I had no earthly idea what it was. I thought it was another streaming service. But any more thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. And Ox Cord, I think it's your first time in the comments section. If it is your first time being here, for whatever reason, you decided to stop by the channel tonight, thank you very much. Feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up, tell your friends, tell your family all about the channel. And as I said earlier, we'll come back later on this week and talk Elimination Chamber and talk more about where I refereed at tonight and where I'm going to referee at tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Did you hear about the light bulb party? It was pretty lit. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them.